Meeting.
We are informed.
Okay. I'll shut my.
All right, going to start recording. All right, I will call the meeting to order. It's 5:24. This is the Wednesday, May 28th, 2025 meeting of the Climate Smart Kingston Commission. In the room, we have voting commissioners Emily Chesson, Anthony Fitzpatrick, Haya Huber, Dan Smith, Jake Strauss, Cal Truman. Remotely, we have Melissa Iachetta and Roberto Rivera. Non-voting, we have myself and Brad Borquist in the room, and remote, we have non-voting commissioner Kevin McAvoy. We also have guest environmental specialist Phil Shuttle Green. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Me, Truman.
Great.
My sister is visiting and wanted to come check out the meeting.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Are you from afar?
Me.
Maine. Nice. Is it raining there all the time? Like it's raining here all the time? All right. Well, welcome to another rainy season. Do you have any public comment for the record? Okay. Are there any modifications to the agenda? You will notice that I didn't truncate it at all. Can we make a move at the table or? Which chair you better get? Probably in the fifties. And I'm expecting that. I'm needing her budget.
Cat on the list of commissioners?
Catherine. Number 3.
Let's see.
Oh, doesn't pay for kid.
Despite what we call people, they are listed as their name.
Legal name or legal name?
My legal name is Jacob Strauss.
Are you
Wow.
serious?
Yeah, sorry.
Dang.
And Danny, legally, I'm not Danny either, is it?
Legally?
Oh my gosh, mine was exploded.
And it's around the way. You gotta keep me on there, Scala.
Had an opportunity to make it work with one.
Well.
We're all imposters.
You are all imposters. Okay.
I'm the only one who's here.
Well, yeah. All right, so hearing no modifications, we will go to review and approval of the April minutes. I did make a couple editorial notes before we started the meeting, but we'll just note on the record that there is a section in old business. The last part of D, E, and the beginning part of F are rollovers from previous minutes. So those should be reevaluated by Kevin.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other changes or modifications to the minutes?
Nope.
Kevin, should we wait to see a modified version or should we vote to approve? You're muted. You muted.
Yeah, I'll make whatever changes you instruct me to do. We'll take care of that. So just move ahead with the minutes. Yeah.
I move to adopt the minutes as amended.
Okay.
Second.
Second from Jake. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed or abstaining? Great. Thank you.
Who made the motion? I
Anthony
see-
made the motion. Jacob Strauss made the second.
Yeah, Jake seconded. Who made the motion now? Oh, Anthony?
Or the person who goes by Anthony. I can't trust that.
No. Okay, got it.
I'm using my powers here.
Thanks, but
That is Elizabeth, your real name?
yes, it is.
We're using real names for now.
For the legal name.
We're using whatever anyone wants to be called. Okay, so what are we doing? We're moving on from that. Membership renewals and applications. I would like to formally welcome Catherine, AKA Cat Cal, to the board. Welcome. Cat is a voting member, so we now have one vacancy. Still open. I haven't heard any further communications from other people who have submitted applications, so as of now, it is a vacancy. And I don't have any new applications since the last time that we met. Kat, do you want to tell us anything about yourself that we don't already know?
I think, no.
Would you like to be represented as KAT on the agenda?
Sure, that's mainly what I go by, so that's usually what people recognize me as.
Okay. Becca, would you like to be represented as Becca on the agenda? Jake, go. Would you like to be represented as Jake?
I prefer Jake, yeah.
Jake and Dan?
Yeah, it's fun.
Is there anyone else who feels as though they're misrepresented by their name on the agenda?
Big opportunity here, folks.
Okay. Great. Moving on. So you'll see what I did this time. This is just a test for agenda layout, which is put the things we said we're going to focus on first, and then everything else gets less time. We'll try it this way. We'll see how it goes. So, I will note with the 2025 focus initiatives, one of the questions at the last meeting or that had come up that I said I would look into was, when does our climate smart certification expire? And it so we became climate certified bronze, the highest at the time, in 2014. We renewed 5 years later, and we now are 5 years after. So it actually expires in September 2025 of this year. So between now and September, I will be gathering up all the information about everything that we did in the last 5 years to see what additional points we can have and what things are going to be continued. I was on a call with folks the other day, and a question was posed to the state about whether they're going to be adding gold anytime soon, and the answer was no. So be it. So, but just so everyone knows, just because we are silver and have been silver, if we don't keep up with stuff, we don't stay silver. You have to it's not just me asking again. There are certain things where you have to either do more or prove that you keep doing it in order to stay at that level. So the longer we stay at silver, the better, but we'll see when the points come out. Yeah, so that said, solar readiness. And I think, Jake, you did EV readiness. Okay, solar readiness. I should write next to it who was taking the lead, but you all decided to do a collective subcommittee, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so collective subcommittee. Any advancement on solar readiness that we should discuss today?
I was looking at this in preparation for the meeting, and I don't think we came out with like a plan of what we were going to do. We just said we were going to do something. So I think what we need to do is like, the three of us who was involved, then we should convene and decide how we want to tackle this, because we did not make a plan for that at the last meeting, so we did not do it.
I was kind of in my mind, I was like, okay, after Earth Fair,
Yeah, that.
prioritize this stuff and.
Okay, so the subcommittee folks that self-identified last time were Cal, Phil, Betta, Kat, and Emily. Is someone going to take the lead on setting a meeting, or Jake, do you want to?
I thought you were.
I mean, if I was already on it last time, then I will take the initiative to say that.
Well, this
If I
is just,
wasn't, I don't want to.
Okay, you go. Yeah.
okay.
So I had a question, is solar readiness, were we combining it with EV readiness, or are they staying two separate things? I forgot what that discussion.
I believe that the reason they were separate is because they need two different sets of tools, but I think the thing you offered to do actually was you were going to go through the code and pull out where we wanted to make updates.
Okay, so
I think you wanted to do that. It's that like explicit text.
And if anyone needs to see the original spreadsheet of what we had talked about, I have a couple copies there.
and we did, yeah, I do have a minute, just combine EV solar and battery storage into one code review item.
Yeah, that's great.
So the slideshow that I sent you was just specific to EV readiness in this. So I didn't do the thing I said. But now I will do it for next time. And we also should, okay, so yes, I will be the person to set a meeting between this meeting and the next one with.
So you've now gone from not wanting to do it to being.
Doing it all.
My notes say that I was gonna do it, and I didn't, so now I will do it.
Okay.
If you can do the code review and update the rest of us, you can probably talk about it after that.
Okay.
If that works for you. If you're like overburdened.
No, I thought this was an additional thing
Okay.
on top of the EV readiness thing, but if we're combining all of those, then this can be a thing that I do. So one more time, who are the members of this subcommittee?
Me, Cal, Phil, Betta, Pat, Emily.
Got it.
Is there anyone else that wants to, or do none of the people that are just named want to not?
Um, and Kat
That's
is
gonna
gonna
be,
do some
your meetings need to be posted public
Yeah.
and recorded,
Why is that?
What?
because there's a quorum of the group.
So we
If
should have
we
less
weren't, if
I'll
you
be
were
let,
smaller-
I'll take myself out of the group.
If you have, so quorum is 6, if you have 5 people, you don't need to do that.
Okay, so we have 7 now.
I'm not.
Oh, he's not part, so
We have
6,
6, so if we had one fewer
so
person.
one.
Do we have to publicize addresses also? If we have a quorum?
So you would have to post the meeting 48 hours in advance. You'd have to do all the same things that
We should definitely.
Not do that, okay.
Yeah. So we can't have 6 people.
You can't have 6
You can
people
have 5 people.
discussing business in a place without it being public.
Okay, well, right now it's.
Which would happen if we all went to a bar after this. We'd also have to make that public and post our location. If we talk about
Or is it
business,
nothing with it?
What if we just said no business?
then yes.
That never works.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that sounds good. So it's me, Jake, Betta, Kat, and Elaine. Do we have anyone who doesn't do this?
Oh, I thought it was that because I'm not a voting member, it doesn't.
Oh,
there.
maybe it doesn't actually. You're
You
because
still
you're just.
There are 6 for that.
Right, right. So we have to grab somebody else, but Phil might be able to stay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean that.
Because you don't count towards.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, that makes
I
sense.
can drop out though.
It would be very valuable.
I'm not dropping out.
I would suggest that since Anthony decided at the last minute to join, then that would be.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Is
okay, right.
that okay?
Yes.
You'll get the updates.
That sounds fun then.
All right, so do you,
It'll be posted, you can watch this too.
you want me to share your presentation now then, or is that, are we not at a point to share that?
All I did was go through the stretch code and the existing non-stretch building code for any mentions of EV readiness. I don't think it's very useful. Yeah, there are some things that mention it, but it's nothing super substantive, so.
Okay, so then, are you all also going to address the website?
That was something Kat offered to just do, I think.
Yes, I think what happened last time is because I wasn't yet on the email chain. I wasn't sure if that was actually sent out. What we should do is send out the document that I sent to you, Julie, for review by everyone else, and then I'll make a second version. But because I wasn't on the email chain yet, I wasn't sure if that had been happening internally.
Okay, so I will circulate Kat's review of the website, the web page, I
I'm
guess.
also happy to send that email and circulate it, just to take that off.
Love that.
Because
Yes.
I'm on the email chain now.
Okay, yes, great. So you're gonna do that, give people a deadline
Yeah,
and a format for how you want bounce.
yeah.
Perfect.
I'll probably, is there a Google Doc, like, or a Google folder at all that we use?
I think Betta had suggested that and said was gonna set it up, but I don't know if that happened or not.
I can set it up if that's. Okay.
Great, thank you. So is there any other discussion on those first 4 things at this time then?
Probably so.
Okay. I just want to note that paper cycle. Oh, go ahead.
Did we just merge solar readiness and EV readiness?
What do you, I don't know.
So if I understand correctly, I think it's solar, EV, and battery code.
And battery, okay,
Yeah, so the first three items, 1, 2, 3 under 5A,
right, okay.
are going to be a code review in the next meeting as opposed to 3 separate bullets. I think after the code review, we may want to break them back out, but I think we're
Mhm.
reviewing all together first. Is that right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I got a little bit of info on battery storage. I did go to the building department and walk in as a president might want it. So there was no like they advised that they email them. I did. There's no like pushback as far as they're concerned. So it's not prohibited. Press would ask some follow-up questions like, do you need like separate room? You know, like some of the fire safety questions, and
Yeah.
they just sort of stop pushing them into my email. So it seems like it's good, but maybe some of the details are still. And then there was no mention of battery storage other than like our batteries, storage of hazardous materials. So not the same.
Yeah.
And basically all you're gonna find is solar systems. Solar. So it's still a little unclear, although basically they seem to be totally.
Good to hear.
Did you request like a permanent installation or more of a temporary?
No, it's gonna be part of the house, the backup generator, permanent, same as if it was a gas generator, as they put about. Battery storage.
I might ask about the portable stuff type.
I mean, I came at as if it was gonna be part of the house.
Yeah.
So
I would actually,
they didn't say no, they said yes, but then the details were.
yeah. Personally, I wanted to get like a battery backup portable one.
So I guess what that tells the subcommittee is that city needs some guidance.
Yeah. I think, I think that the safety recommendations are still in draft stage right now, but there is a process going on at the state level to finalize safety recommendations for buildings. So, yeah.
Okay.
So this is in the town of Ulster, they're looking at putting something like 12 acres of lithium ion batteries and like a facility in wherever like Coleman was. So that's something that's it is some stage of development, but something that people want to just watch to see what they end up doing, because they are talking about fire prevention, all that stuff.
So
Very interesting. Okay. That's on early out here for anybody who's going home this week. Coleman was on Catholic high school in the city, and then they enrollment declined. Shut it down. All right, great. So we'll follow up on those next month. We'll follow up on the website next month. Paint recycling event, just to note, some of you are registered to work at it. And we're looking forward to it. I had a meeting with the Green Sheen folks today. There's 452 cars registered so far. They're prepared for 800. They expect to be 800. There's 452 registered, and it's gonna 4.
Oh my God.
We've been promoting it through city's socials, but also Green Sheen invests about 1,000 in promotion.
I keep getting Instagram notes for it.
Okay. I'm in that part. Take it and put it somewhere. Do at this point, but I did already have this printed up for the fair. And it's going to be fun.
How many long? I don't know. 3 years.
Wow, so you notice, where are they getting the money?
They're funded through NYSERDA.
Wow.
So they have funding. They're doing it this for us at no cost. Yeah, and we'll been promoting it. So we'll do that one more time this week. That'd be great. Thank you.
Anyone else want a flyer?
Does anyone sign up for that, willing to get in?
What?
I live in Port Ewan, but,
Oh, so you're working even if you right?
yeah,
I was supposed to work the event, but my shoulder does.
I have to be there at 7. So I can get you if you want to be there at 7.
Sure.
Okay. Maybe you at 6:45.
Awesome.
Okay. Great. That's great. And Climate Smart's name is all over everything. So this is good for Climate Smart as well. And then they're also going to quantify after the event. That day, one of us, people that are working, there's 10 of us that are coming from my end, and then there's 10 of them that are coming from their end. One of us is just gonna be counting cars. And so anyway, we'll have that count that day, but then they're going to also volumize. Okay, one of us, people that are working,
And then we're getting some.
coming from my end, and then there's 10 of them that are coming from their end. One of us is just gonna be counting
That
cars.
is.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that is my voice.
Yeah.
We're getting feedback.
So
from
we'll
you.
have that count that day, but then they're going to also volumize.
Oh my God. Kid, it's not your best meeting.
Wait, that was what you were just saying.
I know.
Sentence before.
He's on like a 10-second delay or something.
Crazy.
And your voice sounded crazy. That's not good. That's not usually how you say it.
Okay, great. So anyway, they'll know like this amount of gallons or whatever, volumetric of latex, whatever the other options are. Okay. Hopefully I'll be counting first and then I'll actually make decisions. All right. Great, moving on to outreach and education, environmental ed programming. Phil, any updates on that?
The kids are down at the beach every day, as am I and Brendan Walsh. And when Casey has been on vacation, she's there. She's really the leader of this whole operation. But yeah, it's good. We go down, we fish for the fish, and we go kayaking. Today, the first group when we were fishing, we were striking out. We weren't catching any fish. And the kids were, I mean, naturally they were a bit upset. So we moved down like to a different part of the beach, and they started summoning ritual where they collectively sang for the fish while one kid was like beating on the water. And we caught fish.
Amazing.
So, the kids are learning a lot.
On the water. Scared to feel wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are these kids?
I think they're fourth graders, like 7th to 4th graders, something like that. Actually, sometimes I don't know though. So there's a bit of a range. They're kids. Yeah, they're little kids. So yeah, so it's fun.
And 3 kids had to get towed on the kayak today, right?
Yeah, kids. I mean, kids sometimes, yeah, kayaks are really hard. Kayaks are just really hard generally. So if you put yourself in the shoes of a 9-year-old who's never been on a kayak before, and then you're just like thrown out into that river, it can be
Yeah.
a little intimidating and also just really confusing.
And by thrown out, you mean, or in an organized fashion, very controlled, being put onto the water
Yes.
under directive of well-skilled.
Yes, incredibly so. Very so. I mean, it is. Of course, the kayaks are, to flip one of those, the kid would have to really be trying.
Yes.
Like, really hard.
Great.
Are you taking out like different classes every day? So like one
Yeah.
class goes out every week or once a month?
It's every day of the week right now. So it's
It's different.
different lessons, yeah.
So how long?
All the 4th grade in the entire district does this.
Okay, and
Oh, so
does the student just get to do it one time or does it circle back and they get to go like twice a year?
This particular program, they go once.
Cool.
But a lot of the kids have multiple interactions like this.
Oh,
Like through the time that they're going to school, like maybe it's not just City of Kingston, but like many kids are like, oh, I've gone seeing netting before, or like I've done. They're encountering environmental education in a lot of different ways, I think.
Cool.
how do they get there?
School bus, unless they're coming from JFK, and then they'll walk down.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
And back.
and back. Yeah. Right.
All the way. Great.
It's good.
Anything on workforce opportunities or green jobs? Okay. Earth Fair, this is technically our second meeting or our first meeting after the Earth Fair. And a lot of you were part of the planning team. And I expressed my gratitude at that time and will express my gratitude again. It was the most successful one yet. It was the only day in this whole month season that hasn't rained. The perfect weather. We estimated about 2,000 people. The next one is May 9th, 2026. We ended up collecting 1.5 dump trucks of e-waste, 44 refrigerant containing appliances, 60 bankers boxes worth of paper shredding, and 63 people rode the bus,
Okay.
which is a lot, in my opinion.
How much up from last year?
I think last year nobody rode the bus.
It was free.
That was free.
It was free.
It just was not a lot of this.
This is the shuttle bus?
Yeah,
It was hard to even find parking near where the shuttle bus pickups were.
yeah.
Like, it was not possible to park.
Oh, the other one.
Event, but where the pickup to get on the shuttle bus.
Oh.
Also really hard to get. So,
Where you did the date with it this year?
May 9th.
Day after Mother's Day.
Or the day before Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only problem I guess about the parking situation.
Yeah, but the Hooligan and Italian
Yeah.
Festival, they figure out,
Right, totally.
they got 3 times as many people as me.
yeah, so,
People, if they want to start the event, they'll figure it out. And for those events, I mean, we turn a blind eye, people park all up the 9W over the bridge. We'll figure it out, park in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, there's a lot of parking neighborhoods.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So thank you to everyone. We're doing some budget wrap up. I'm still waiting on a couple checks. Generally went well, really well. Anyone from here that wants to comment about the event?
A lot of fun.
I did say that I would pass along from the Earth Fair debrief meeting that a lot of folks like raise their hand to put up flyers and then either weren't updating the Excel sheet or just ended up not being able to do it, but didn't communicate. And so there was some scrambling from the city and just a lot of leftover posters. And I know that Emily and Steve from Clearwater worked really hard on creating the posters, and then, they don't end up going out. So next year we are going to try to do it a little bit earlier. So we'll have more lead time, but I just want to, I don't want to be negative, but like, if you sign up to put up posters, don't overcommit, I would say. I am guilty of that myself. And I tried not to take any. And then I felt like, oh no, I should have took some to help out. But that's the only kind of negative. But then I do want to end on a positive. At the exchange store, there was somebody who came down from Troy. And he's come down for 3 years in a row. And he said that like he loves our Earth Fair and it's like the best Earth Fair he's ever been to. And so we do get a big reach and people not just stumbling upon it, walking on the Strand, but actually coming to the event, like for our event. So I thought that was great news.
That's awesome.
Well done, team. Good job.
Yeah, amazing job.
All right. And it was only like 2 weeks ago. It feels like it was a really long time ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. Conference on the environment plans are coming together very well. We're negotiating the contract with the site, which has been determined. It's Suyuzivka Heritage Center. It's a Ukrainian heritage center in Kirk-Oxen. This has overnight facilities, so we'll be renting out the entire facility. Again, this is October 24th to 25th of this year. And we're right now honing in on the presentations, of which the theme, the tracks will be open space and land use, energy transition, and circularity, solid waste management. And there will be field trips on Saturday. Those are still in the works. So we have started seeking sponsorships, and there is a web page. You can check it all out, NISAC.net.
Have you ever done one of these before?
I have. I've done this exact one before in 2017. It was in Kingston. It was the last one before it started going either not happening or remote or offline or whatever for a couple of years. It was very successful. And we held it at the Chateau.
Oh, yeah. Go.
Yep. But now it travels around the state and it got brought back to Ulster County, but because people didn't want to repeat Kingston itself, we went outside the county. And a lot of the options are very expensive outside the county, and this place is not very expensive.
Cool. Is the sort of like civilians that attend, or is it mostly people who like work? State or?
It's mostly Conservation Advisory Council members and climate. So that's the target. Part of NISAC, New York State Association of Conservation Commissions,
Got it.
but NISAC now also covers climate smart commissions.
Things.
So the programming, the bulk of the programming is going to be on Friday, and it will be hybrid, by the way. So if folks aren't able to go and want to attend any individual program remotely, that will be available on Friday, and registration has not started yet. All right, moving on to clean electricity, building decarbonization, electrification. I had my kickoff meeting with Fulcrum. So we have hired Fulcrum. In the first round, we were for the audit, we worked with Noresco. Now we're working with Fulcrum to do the design for City Hall and the Andy Murphy Center. They kicked off last week, and their goal is to complete 30% design by November. So it's going to be a long process. I would surmise 30% design this year, 100% design next year, and construction the following year. And this is for the full decarbonization of both buildings. Okay. Greg has been helping out with gathering data. Probably going to be employing Phil more to work on this project as well, gather more information. And as part of this, within this year, they will also be doing some test boreholes on both the Andy Murphy Center and here to see about geothermal potential. Yeah.
Is there any way to coordinate these efforts with the new fire station?
Coordinate in what way?
Maybe utilize the information and add to the construction or the drilling of the wells for the fire station?
We'd have to see what that kind of interface would look like. I mean, so this is funded through NYSERDA through specific grants of specific deliverables. Certainly the information, if it's transferable, that would be fine. I can't change the scope of what I'm asking Fulcrum to do.
Understood
But
that.
if you had, I guess they could get a change order or something on their design if you had additional funding or had additional scope to add to it. But I can't look at the project that I have, but we can talk offline about it.
Yeah. Well, I think that would limit the quantity of the change order on the new firehouse. The work that you're doing with Fulcrum.
Okay. So that's where we are with that. We also had a really robust thermal energy network meeting right before this. My brain is almost exploding. Kevin was on it. His brain looks like it's exploding also, and Greg was on it. And his brain's probably.
No, I was all.
My brain's exploding. Dan was on it. Your brain's not exploding? Okay, well, I'm just being, the language that was being spoken is not my normal language, and so I was just like. But we met with a person named Jens Pony Cow. Yep. And he is the president of the Geo. And he was a wealth of information. And we also met with the Department of Energy folks that are doing their technical assistance, and there was just a lot of scoping that was going on and data crunching, and also the comparison of and the merits, the high level merits of, is a thermal energy network valuable and worth it versus just self-contained geothermal on a building. And so we were so deep into the conversation and so much going on that we booked. It was only booked for an hour. We actually booked 2 more hours next week to continue with the conversation. So. That's been very fun. Meeting. Yes. Municipal solar installations. I have been pushing Suncommon, and they will not commit to doing my installations yet. And they keep telling me that they're going to, and I haven't heard back. It's been challenging, and I can't update for you right now. So,
Which 2 locations?
the Roundup Neighborhood Center and the pool.
And drive a pool.
I already have all the designs. I've already given them the money to buy the products.
Everybody's kind of freaking out about tariffs.
I would do it as fast as possible.
Last year.
If they already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should have. Started it, like, the tax credits.
Yes, and should be. Yes.
So.
Because it's only gonna be first.
Like a lot of solar developers, like they don't want to keep lots of stuff. If as they go now.
Understand that? It's not there and.
Oh, yeah, I'm not defending them, I'm just saying. well,
No, I'm just saying,
Were they watching something like trucks on Facebook Marketplace or something?
it was, solar generation.
Wait, you know what?
Everybody's not.
Oh, maybe I missed it.
Oh, are you talking trash about the wrong solar company?
I think it's a solar company.
It's a solar generation.
Hold on, I need to clarify this. That would have been a Freudian slip. Okay, so where are we here? Oh, boy.
You've been writing angry emails.
You could write in English somehow, they probably deserve it.
Let me see. Hold on, I'll get all everybody mixed up, get together.
When did you bid this out?
Oh, solar generation. It is solar generation. I would like to publicly apologize to some comment for the statements that I've just made.
I don't know.
All of the statements I've just made apply to solar generation and not to Suncom.
And solar generation is the one that's selling off all their assets.
As far as I can tell from Facebook Marketplace, what they are.
Well, I hope that
I know, right? Selling off stuff.
Also great that they're not.
Some comment is something Andy Murphy centers install. And I have no problems with that. And I will restate, I have no problem with some comment. We worked on the.
Redact the video.
Okay.
Great, one that's impossible to do. It's just the worst solar generation.
Yeah, but if you had Kingston, they're on.
Go to
Is
there.
there a deadline that you'll pull their construction bond?
I'm essentially buying just materials. So we didn't do a construction bond. Their contract had expired like a year ago, but they're only halfway.
You didn't have a construction bond? Okay.
I'm not concerned about it in terms of it not happening. I'm concerned about timeline, but there's really no concern. I mean, like people's lives are at stake. Yeah. All right, anyway, moving on. So, I don't have anything for CCA or community solar. I don't know if anyone else does.
Community solar still taking signups, so exactly.
Yes, community solar is still taking signups. And moving on to the municipal renewable energy implementation plan, it's done. People, it's done. And I have 5 printed copies here. If anyone feels like they want a printed copy, if you don't want a printed copy, I'm still happy to also send you one version or digital. You could also You could also go to kingston-ny.gov/sustainability and click on the energy link and it will be there. You can find it. It has been sent to the county and I got an immediate reply from Nana. Who referred to me, Cindy. So I'm not sure.
That's your real name, isn't it?
My real name and my real voice. So I would like to publicly thank Brad and Phil for the incredible amount of work and detail that was put into this plan. It started out as something much different than what it ended up at, and I think that that's okay. Started out as how much solar do we need to cover all of our energy here? And it ended up being a full-fledged and very comprehensive and technical plan for municipal energy implementation for the city. So read it at your leisure. I'm not necessarily taking comments to change anything, but if you see something glaring and it's like, this is embarrassing, Julie, then feel free to tell us. It's iterative. It's not been adopted. We're not intending to adopt it. So I guess in theory, it's iterative, can be. Although I could probably speak for myself, Phil and Brad, that we don't really want to keep going back to change it, but we can if people. Oh my goodness. Okay.
It never ends.
Which
You don't
page
have to
of one
change
is
it.
it?
Oh, I'm changing it.
Which page?
It's right on the demo. Where? Page 2. There's 2 ends.
It is what it is.
CRUMAN.
Oh,
It's all.
That was an oversight. So,
If you're
I
really.
don't- I don't see it.
in the context of this, I was wondering, maybe better knows the answer to this, are any other communities doing this at all? Okay.
It was a,
Right.
was there in training.
You all have to talk about it, your plans for me?
I only had a meeting for a while.
Oh. Stopped?
And been a little.
So,
Remember Nick Paul speaking on it?
Melissa's still on? She did the trainings, right?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, do
Oh,
you?
Well, did this come out of solar mapping?
This
Came out of the solar mapping, right?
Yeah.
You guys
This
just like.
came out of solar mapping. This is Mana's initiative to make the exercise used in the tool a reality. From what I understand, she's still gonna push for the Ulster County legislative body to vote on adopting like whatever communities come up with plans, like trying to like make those plans a reality by having the legislative body vote on it. I don't really know if they're voting on resolutions or like what exactly, but it's kind of on pause right now because of her she's running for election and she's running opposed, and so she's like paused a lot of her projects to focus on that.
I think that's the main issue. Oh, okay.
Well,
But I know other communities were putting together actual implementation plans. The status of them is unclear.
let the record be known that Kingston again finished
Did it first.
This is like a professional dissertation.
Yes,
Yeah.
Well,
This could be.
a consultant who couldn't have done a better job.
No, we couldn't have.
So well done, team.
Yeah, good work.
Looks great.
I then will, well, I guess the question becomes, is there anything with solar zoning or Soul Smart that needs to continue to be on this agenda?
Well, Kevin, one of the things is that we kept saying that when we complete this, then we'll be able to have the fodder, probably not the right word, the fodder to go to the zoning update committee to say, hey, zoning update committee, these are the things that should be addressed related to solar and the update of the zoning code. Right?
But we could do that if you want to keep it on, for sure. I think where we were left on that was I think at the last CAC meeting, I think we looked at the what they mean in the form-based code by utility use.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we determined there was something in the bulk regulations that
Yeah.
indicated it is, yeah, to defined it, so to speak. I don't know if it was in the definitions, but it was definitely in the bulk regulations.
All right. Well, I would argue that if CAC, since CAC is working on it, that both commissions don't need to do it. If you think that that feels reasonable, that just CAC would work on it, because that would be the more policy needed board anyway.
Yeah, it should come back to this board though, once that review is done.
Okay.
All right, well,
Yeah,
then
I think everybody here needs to see what's going on. We've talked so much about it, and just to have it drop off, and it went over to CAC. Yeah, yeah. So this would be a thing to do for right now. Just have CAC look at it, and then come back over here when we're ready to approach the zoning task for the zoning working group rather, or the common council with change. I think this board should weigh in on that before we CAC just does it.
Okay, great.
excellent. Brad or Phil, do you want to make any comment on that?
They should give you the whole list for the city to implement city-owned properties that you can use. Do you have that consolidated, or would you like that?
I'm not following.
In the list of buildings, there's some city buildings and some other government buildings. Do you want the list of only the city buildings?
Oh, I've already done solar evaluations on all the
Okay.
relevant.
I thought so, true.
Yeah. Some of which were done by SunCommon and some of which were done by solar generation, because I spread the work out.
Also, I mean, some of the stuff that maybe we might come up with through the 2025 focus initiatives, if it's code-based stuff. It might
Yes.
tap into what you guys like. So,
Okay, good. Great. Good call.
So it make it also.
Okay.
yeah.
Absorption.
Can I ask a
Question
question?
was absorbed. Yes.
So. Sorry, I lost it. Municipal accounts, that means buildings owned by the city?
Buildings, lights.
Okay, so city property.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Moving on from that, city fleet transition. I am aware that we took delivery on 5 Equinoxes this week.
Oh, sweet.
And I drove in one yesterday.
Wow.
And it's surprisingly very similar to the car that I now own, which is a Honda Prologue, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very similar to it. And they're all for the police department, and the police department is highly embracing it. And it's super.
I had 5 cops outside my apartment last night.
Oh.
I noticed that.
Were they all
none of them
EV?
were electric.
Right.
You don't worry.
Like them were. I couldn't tell. I don't think they were.
No, I don't think from what I've spoken that when I spoke to them is they got 4 police patrol vehicles and they basically said I think they only use them for stuff.
Yes.
I think they're not comfortable driving.
Yes.
And of the 5, I think 3 were idling for a long.
Oh yeah, they're about it. Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
I'll also say that our mayor is currently up at the New York State Conference of Mayors at Sagamore.
Hmm.
That's a
And-
nice place.
It's another place. But he took one of the police vehicle, one of the police cars, because he was showing off that we are one of the only, if not the only municipality that has been switching over our police force. He's there in it. I cautioned him to follow the law.
I'll turn them off. Wait.
Compliance, fine, together, myself.
Yeah, I've heard some concerns from them that they feel like the range is not good enough. But
Everyone says that.
Like, how many trip ones?
It's partially.
Have they tried?
Miles the charge?
I don't remember what it is anymore. It's been a minute.
They
But
driving.
it's not the driving, it's like all the idling time. Because they deck the cars out with all their little contraptions and stuff. And then another thing is like they pointed these things out. I checked it out. The inside of the vehicle, I guess like when it's like for a police person,
Yeah.
it had like the dashboard is different and stuff like that because they have all their computers and things. And these ones, Chevy just took the Chevy Blazer and then like made it stronger or something and said it's a police vehicle, but it's still the inside is all just like a regular car. So like when you put the police stuff in there, it's like you can't reach the meeting. You can't like there's like all these things that get messed up. So it's like it's good and they're going to use it, but it definitely I got very strong messages that it was like we do not want anymore. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
This yeah.
Oh,
For the pursuit vehicles, yeah, for the Blazers, but for the other ones, it's Equinoxes, hopefully they like those.
I'll tell you what was interesting about the Equinox is that, so I was in the passenger seat and the mayor was in the driver's seat, and he said, I can see the speed on
Yeah,
the
that was-
windshield.
Oh,
I agree.
I was like, no, you can't.
Oh, wow. Then you don't have to be looking down. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
I hope the guys like it. I hope they like them.
So that's our fleet transition. We're still negotiating with Round Trip EV on the electric Packer. That's taking a very long time, but there's nothing to report on it.
Can I share one more interesting
Yeah.
piece of information with the fleet transition?
Sure.
So we're in the process of applying for the Inflation Reduction Act, like tax rebate for the electric vehicles. And they need, of course, like a few things to show that you have the vehicle.
yeah.
And that's posed a problem because each state does this differently, but for New York State, police vehicles are neither registered, nor do they have the title of ownership.
Oh, wow.
So police
You
vehicles.
can't prove you have it.
You can't, it's, the closest you can get is proving that the dealer received the vehicle.
So wait, then how do you, if someone steals a cop car, how do you go?
That is the question. But I thought that was really interesting. Like, first it was like they have no registration. I was like, okay,
They have plates.
they don't have plates.
No plates.
No.
It's just
odd.
K19 or K109.
And it's not every state. Like, I was calling around to try to figure out how to do this. I called people in Massachusetts and they're like, well, over here, we do register our police vehicles. But yeah, I thought that was sort of funny.
That is.
So hopefully well, the strange thing is that the IRS seemingly didn't know this.
Wow.
So like they asked for registration and title. But hopefully we'll be able to work through that.
We're breaking the mold.
Yeah, we're bringing them all.
So why don't they just get registered anyways?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hard to get. You gotta
Who
get
owns
registered,
it?
gotta do that. You know, pay.
And then you get the plates and then you don't put the plates on.
You first gotta get the title.
In Michigan, who owns the cars? Like,
Michigan?
I thought, well, what city you mentioned?
Oh, I would call them Massachusetts, called Cambridge. Yeah, and they.
Who owns the cars there?
It's a good point. I guess the city must own the cars, like because the rest of the cars in Kingston are registered and have titles and all of that. So
It's weird.
it must just be. It seemed from what I could find online, it's just that it's a state specific thing, but whether like it's not just it's other emergency vehicles like that too. Yeah, but anyway, I just thought that was an interesting. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was the case until I was doing this.
Like,
We're gonna have to
yeah.
start flexing.
Trying to implement all this stuff, really.
Yeah.
I have a more general question. Do we know what, like, roughly what percentage of the city's fleet is electrified?
I do not have that.
Very good question.
5 vehicles?
No.
An additional, that was
No,
another.
there's a bunch. I don't have a percentage though.
But we will next month.
Yeah, I would like to say like
Ballpark.
number. I think like 10, I would assume at least 10%.
Well, we'll come back to next month with that information, but we'll break it down to sedans versus heavy duty.
Right.
Light duty
Yeah.
versus heavy
Right.
duty. So
Yeah,
on our light
very
duty,
different.
it's a really high percentage.
Yeah, it's getting.
Really, really high.
Yeah.
For the full fleet, that means we're taking into consideration fire trucks,
Yeah.
you know, everything.
Yeah, it's a lot
And
of
then
those heavy duty ones, those heavy duty ones, we can't really, there aren't.
Right,
things.
totally.
Can't
Yeah,
possibly.
it's not even like super possible right now.
Yeah,
in a lot of-
that's a good point though. Like one of our departments is all electric at this point.
I mean, that would be a really cool thing to put on. the
Yeah,
page.
we'll bring that back.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
it.
Remember I should have it all the time.
Building, safety, it has all.
Yeah, they're all electric.
Yeah.
So for something like a fire truck, that's what the renewable diesel is.
So we'll speak to the
It sounds like-
also. So after a lot of research by Phil and collaborating with DPW and the mayor, we have been given the go-ahead to procure renewable diesel for 3 months. So we're buying it for June, July, and August.
That's awesome.
And so this will be a direct drop into the existing system. Nothing has to get changed besides literally a placard that we have to put on the side of the tank. It says this is what we're using. Over that 3-month period, Phil and our comptroller's office will be tracking the cost differential between if we would have stayed with diesel, conventional diesel versus renewable, and tracking 2 different renewable diesel providers if we wanted to switch over to a different one. And then at the end of August, we'll then also have just experiential knowledge about if the system's changed in any way or whatever. And in August is when we plan for the budget for the following year, and that's will then inform whether we want to switch over at that point. So directive was starting June 1st. I'm not sure if it's happening by June 1st, but we'll see. I'll let you know.
How much renewable diesel are you getting over 3 months? Like, how many vehicles will be powered by it? Is it just like a
vehicle that uses
Yeah, just filling up the
Or
tank.
just the-
Yeah.
still not the same exact time. So it's the same distributor. So the same folks that were coming here with one thing in their tank are now coming here with another thing in their tank. It's the same exact tank, same cars.
And I don't have these numbers right now, I should look, but I think that we use more diesel in the summer months than we do in the winter. Because there's more construction and stuff like that, but I'd have to double check that.
So this will then be used in any piece of equipment the city uses that has diesel. So fire trucks, all the large heavy duty vehicles, all the garbage packers, any kind of equipment, off-road equipment. All of it will be using renewable diesel. All right, so on to EV infrastructure. I have 2 grants open for installing EV infrastructure in the city. One of them is for a fast charger and the contract isn't signed yet, still 3 years later on that. They actually just sent out a note that said your contract is expiring in November. So make sure you get all your documentation in, and I sent a note back and said, we're not even in contract yet, so I'm going to have to do an extension before we even sign. But my other one that is open was supposed to be going in building safety. They're now doing a total overhaul there because their entire fleet is electric and they need a bigger system. So now it's going to be at Dietz Stadium. And so I put out a request for bids for installation. And it's due in June. And so we'll be having a level 2 charger at Dietz Stadium. Right on the side. That means anything to you on the side of Dietz Stadium. And that will be open to the public. Yep.
Is it like
That will be
specific
charged for.
hours it's open to the public or?
Technically the parks are dawn to dusk. However, for a charging station in a public park, you could use 24 hours a day.
Okay.
No, it
I
is
think-
literally a stone's throw from the level 3 chargers at Bank of America, but
Yeah, I mainly meant like sometimes, like if it is mainly needed for like city usage,
Oh.
you could put up a sign saying
yeah,
like 9 to 5,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is city usage.
no, this particular one is fully open to the public.
Okay.
Are those free?
No, the city, we get to choose, the owner gets to choose the cost. There's no regulation on it. County chooses for theirs, we choose for ours, a private organization or business chooses for their own.
How do you decide what to charge?
We always go with what the county does, so they look bad and we look bad. They tend to change theirs more often, so we tend to change it. We're, by no means are we making back our money a month. We're not paying for the electricity, nothing on it. We're taking a hit, but, the goal has been to date to shift the culture, not to make a profit.
I have talked to some cities who have had like a lot of level 2 chargers and are doing them for free, and then it's kind of like, well, they're taking a huge hit financially.
Yeah.
And there's not enough usage, and it got to the point that some of those cities couldn't even like repair their chargers because there was so much like everybody was like, why do we even, you know, so it's like balancing the.
Yeah. It's interesting, actually, I just traveled to New Hampshire this weekend for downhill mountain biking thing, and we stayed at a hotel that had chargers that were decommissioned, and they didn't take them out.
That's
They just found they were just there, and they were on their website also, but the point of me saying this is that like, it's surprising to me that we're at a point already in our cultural shift that there are decommissioned EV charging stations. That like people haven't sold them, I've had them long enough and realized that either they don't want to take care of it, whatever the reasoning is that
Yeah. Or sometimes the charging company goes out of business, like Juice Box, the ones at Camp Kingston. I'm not sure, are those actually? Because Juice Box got like, that was an Excel, I think, company, and then they got like sold or something. They got shut down. So I don't know if those are.
Juice Box is the brand.
Yeah.
We have one of those.
Yeah, so there was a moment, there was like a 3-day period, and they sold a ton of chargers where they were like, we're just gonna like cut the programming, all of these chargers are gonna be dead, and then they were able to like sell the business, but that was.
Like they
Because they're-
remotely destroyed the chargers.
Well, they weren't going to, yeah, essentially, they were going to like. They were going to deactivate them because they didn't wanna run, well, this is Excel Energy, right? So like, I think it was Excel, maybe. And it was, what?
I know, that's.
I would have to look it up. I don't quote me on that. Juice Box is the brand. There was some controversy about that for a minute.
Thanks.
Wow.
Oh, and we've also been speaking with Volt Post. Have you heard anything from them?
No, I think I just saw those last emails because I wasn't able to make that last meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, so we narrowed down a couple of locations. This is the curbside,
Yeah.
like put it on a post. And it takes like an hour for them to install it. and you're
Like a
good to
parking
go.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to choose locations that like weren't blocked by the bike trail, aren't decorative lamp posts, have a certain configuration for how the car approaches the sidewalk. So right now we're looking at putting them one or two, if they select us, because they're choosing like 10 communities or 10 sites across the state. Looking on the Strand, like across the Maritime Museum.
Oh, cool. That's a good spot.
I think that would be really successful.
Yes.
So the charges are always full.
Always full, always full.
Which company is that?
Volt Post.
And they're across the nation.
Yeah, so this would also be at no cost to us.
Can I briefly correct my previous statement? It was NLX Way. ENVL was the.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Italian utility, and then they've branched out and are developed renewable energy and all renewable energy projects across the world. You know, that they have like
But they shut down their entire
DG
United
stuff.
States and Canada, like
Yeah.
charging solution. So the point being, the market is still like in evolution and like there might be some things that deactivate.
Yeah.
Did all of NLX go under?
I'm not sure. It sounds like they just,
Maybe just the NLX way.
I think it was just the charging.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
whatever they're doing on the journey, so.
Yeah. Crazy. I can send you the article.
All right, yeah.
What were you saying Volt Post is doing at the Maritime Museum?
So Volt Post has NYSERDA funding to install 10 curbside EV charging stations across the state. And so they started communicating with the regional climate smart communities coordinators, of which ours is Hudson Valley Regional Council, and said to Hudson Valley Regional Council, do you have any communities that are amazing and wanted to put in curbside EV charging stations? And HVRC suggested us. So they reached out to us, and Phil and I have been meeting with them, Volt Post, to evaluate locations where they can take an existing street lamp. And they basically take this like bracketed
Oh, nice.
unit, they just like, whoosh, and it's an EV charging station, they connect it to your wire, through the conduit to the light.
Light post,
And then
as long as the light post is metered.
They separately meter it.
they
So
sell
they're just using the conduit.
You got it. How? Does it have to be like a 240?
They are looking right now at the capacity of our light, like this, everything we're so far in only been remote evaluation. So the next step is that they're gonna come and with an electrician and actually like look at what we have physically.
If you wanna, some more information, there's a new transformer being installed at Gallo Park.
Yeah.
With the TR Gallo.
Yeah.
Electric project that we just bid out, so some coordination ahead of time might be useful so that that transformer is large enough if the power needs for local chargers are there, that area, because that transformer will be nearby. Those,
That'll be the other side of Broadway though, right? Cause I'm talking about the
the north side,
uphill side, yeah.
uphill,
Yeah.
yeah, this is water side,
Exactly, yeah.
which isn't gonna work, or
That would feed into a different transformer, you
Yeah.
would think?
Also, ones that you might be replacing, right? For the level 3s,
Right.
level 3s going.
Yeah, cause I'm putting a level 3 at that bottom of Broadway as well. So I don't think it'll be conducive. Unless we put more charging station at Gallo.
what you're saying at the bottom of Broadway, right, which is at Gallo.
On the bottom of no, this is on the Strand.
the level 3 that I'm putting in is at the old visitor center parking lot, the DOT lot under the bridge.
Oh, right there.
And that's got a transformer already.
Are you gonna have any issues putting in more chargers with like all the federal money going away?
No, and actually, just got a note from the mayor. He's at a thing, like I said, that they just said that there's, well, first of all, they called him up in front of the group because they congratulated us for being the community in New York State for having the most climate smart communities grants.
It's amazing.
Yep, and they said that the ZEV, which is the Zero Emission Vehicle Grant, is reopening later this year. So probably apply for more, because that's what I paid for everything we've gotten so far.
Right, that's state level, right?
Yep, and that's state level, cool. Yeah, not federal. All right, moving on to clean mobility. I don't know if anyone has anything, like maybe Phil or Anthony?
So Clean Mobility, they had a survey that opened and closed, really interesting results. It's really fun to read. It's the first time that I've gotten to interact with that kind of public consultation side of things. So really fun, especially the segments where people get to say what they want to say in the notes section. Really good stuff.
Tell us about the buses.
This is one that could be there. They talked about the bus or the bikes.
This
or
isn't the
whatever.
specific bus or.
Okay.
Oh, yes, it's a different
Oh,
one.
this is the city, okay.
This is the one that, this is the NYSERDA funded study on like bike share, bike rebates, bus, all kinds of things. And then they were also there, they came up for the Earth Fair, so they tabled at the Earth Fair, which was really nice. They're now transitioning, that project is transitioning out of the like community engagement phase into they're gonna start actually working on the report that they're gonna give us.
Any high level feedback about the community engagement? You could speak to right now.
Well, so there were a few questions that were presented in the survey that gave us like a bit of demographic understanding. And I would say like pretty like thoroughly struck out in terms of actually catching like a good spread of demographics of Kingston. Like skews much older, skews much richer. But the survey was interesting because none of the questions came up with solid, like, this is the answer. They all sort of, you put them on like a pie chart, it's all sort of just equivalent, everything's sort of equivalent.
700 people, I guess.
Yeah, so that was sort of fun.
If the sample wasn't representative, do you think there's any chance that they would put the survey out for another round before shifting to the report phase?
I should ask them.
Because they might be able to do that
Yeah.
another round, try harder to get into the communities that they
Yeah.
target.
Or
Before they try, yeah, or do focus groups, yeah.
They
Before they try.
talked about doing, so they are going to do another phase with focus groups.
Okay.
I shouldn't have said it's totally.
No,
okay.
but that makes sense.
But yeah, I think that the difficulty is that there's like a strict timeline for the project that involves like completion this summer, I think, by the end of the summer. So that might keep them from doing it, but I'll definitely bring that up in the next meeting.
I remember that happened during the hubs, data collection. There was like, for the regional energy hubs, there was like community surveys and people like weren't coming to the events. And so they really, really scrambled. Like, we need to get representative samples and that kind of happen before.
Yeah, it's a confusing thing. It's like you have all this information. People spent the time to say what it is they want to say,
Yeah.
but it's only 200 people.
Right.
And
Not representative.
are we going to be like, oh, this is what Kingston wants? When it's like we can see that it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I don't know. I'm not very experienced with this, so it's like interesting to talk about.
And yet 200 is
It's still a lot.
It's a-
Yeah.
set
It's
compared to other
it's
races.
just too bad that it's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spanish, I can't remember.
it was, but we didn't get any Spanish responses, which is probably, I mean, I think it's just an outreach thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So they should do some, if they're doing focus groups, they should do some.
Yeah, so we talked about like
Go to
just setting up or setting up a Broadway bubble. Setting up outside of the high school is one that I really wanted to do, but we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Community Preservation Fund is up to $53,971.06. And today we had a meeting and we're talking about how the Community Preservation Advisory Board will prioritize beyond what's already been done in the Community Preservation Plan, which basically any parcel that got 1 point can be eligible for this funding. How will this board choose what to focus on. So that's very iterative right now. We've only met 3 times so far. So far, 53,971.06.
It was early this morning, right?
8 a.m. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Oh, it is there. All right, Repair Cafe, anything on Repair Cafe?
Nope.
No.
Next one is in June. I have a date, hold on.
June 28th
Thank you.
Wow, cool.
from
At-
11 to 3 at Clinton United Methodist Church. And there's not much else. I have to make the flyer. I'll send it around like usual and put it on our Facebook if folks could just boost it. We've also been putting it in the mayor's newsletter. And yeah, that's about it.
Great. Refrigerant management program, we've chosen, we've got their bid back and we've chosen Sustainable Hudson Valley, which is subbing with New Yorkers for cool refrigerant management. And they have received our contract, which they're reviewing. And I anticipate having a kickoff in the next 2 weeks with them. So if there's anyone at this table that wants to be part of that ongoing management of that project, which will only be till December. It's from now till December. It's going to be inventorying and then policy development and programming development and outreach. Please let me know if you want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, put it on my resume.
Emotionally, I'd like to be part of that capacity wise, I don't know, but if you could loop me in, I'd like to.
I would love to do that.
Thank you.
And Julie, I can help them out a lot with going to different buildings.
Yes, I expect that you and Phil will be highly involved in this. Great. Kingston Organics, we are at 1,188 individuals, which is 554 families, which is now 6.22% of the households in the city of Kingston participating in Kingston Organics. Very exciting.
6%?
6.
Cool.
Feels like a little, but at the same time, it feels like a
That's
lot.
cool. That's cool.
People don't have to, and there's no incentive, and they're still doing it. And we did compost everything from the Earth Fair. They accepted it. As we know, we normally don't accept anything besides food, but we worked with Opera for the Earth Fair to accept all of the vendors' products. So all of that they took. And that week, the numbers were still exactly the same as they always are. 0.7.
Wait, what?
Still a lot, 0.7 tons.
What?
Which is what I'm saying is the volume,
Right.
the tonnage. Because everything that we threw out at the Earth Fair weighs nothing.
Yeah.
That's what they're like plates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
So
that's funny, I think.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Well,
Like,
that's
so
14.
no blip. 0.7 tons, yes,
Yeah.
a week.
Oh, weeks. So
Interesting.
But Earth Fair composted like things and things like that.
All 5 vendors were required to only use compostable materials, and they had to submit to Gabe exactly what materials they were using, and I had to submit to Opera their exact materials.
People did struggle a bit with, because we're so unused to having compostable materials. I mean, their garbage cans were overflowing.
That's why I would also say there probably was not a blip to the Earth Fair, because I think a lot of it got thrown out.
Were there?
Obviously, our goal has always been and should still continue to be that every solid waste station at the Earth Fair has a person standing there saying that face there.
That's one of the things.
We have not yet executed making that. And maybe it involves compensation.
Yeah, that's how the garlic festival, they
Right.
pay the people who stand at the. Well, and you get in for free.
I did not get paid to
Because-
stand at the waste at the garlic festival.
Really? You're gonna get like a t-shirt, you
This
get in for
t-shirt.
free. You get in for free.
You get
That's
on-
right, 20 months.
Okay, that's true.
No, it's like not exactly, but it's like.
I was paid with the entry fee for the.
Yeah, they're like, you're doing it the Indian theater.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't charge to get into the Earth Fair.
So if there's something that like.
It's entirely about.
It's for lunch voucher or something.
That's
that's what I had in my volunteers.
I think it's-
Julie was, we might get entice more volunteers with providing t-shirts.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that we can say, I think a lot of people like the swag, so they're like, I was here and I helped out.
Yeah.
Cause I saw
Wanna
a t-shirt
create more
from New York
t-shirts that
City.
people throw out.
And I did that.
I mean, Jake wears his t-shirt.
I love my garlic basil.
All right, so that was organics. Food systems policy, I don't have a pulse on that right now. I don't know if you have any update? No, okay. Also, I forgot to put on here, but just to follow up, at the last meeting, we had, you all had voted to advance, a recommendation to the Common Council for the PREA, the, Packaging Reduction Act. And, Conservation Advisory Council, it piggybacked on your, advocacy. And I brought it to the laws and rules and they adopted it. Cool. So it now needs to go to Common Council, which it will in the beginning of June. And I can't imagine why they wouldn't. They were very supportive. And so again, this is just a resolution in support of the Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act. So we'll just follow up on that. And let's see, Kingston Point Park improvements, we are moving through the final stages of permitting right now. And the bid documents are in development, so we expect to go out to bid later this spring, which is not much later, spring's almost over, so there's sometime very soon. For construction in the fall. So we're still on the schedule for that. Kingston Point Beach improvements, New York Swims. I'm moving through the seeker state environmental quality review process on that one, and then we will move into design. Raise, we are not in contract yet, so we're still waiting. Flooding response and hazard mitigation. I'm going to be applying for a grant that will come back next month. To be working with Stevens Institute to be developing a very specific flood forecasting system for Kingston. So that's going to help out with some of our flooding work. And we also are having the Rondout stream gauge reinstalled in July. Hopefully that will be on target. That is federally funded, but the USGS did guarantee me that they were going to continue to do it. So hopefully that will follow through. And I have literally nothing on the North Street demos. We are not in contract. New business. This is getting to the season of letters of support for grants. So there are 3 before this committee as we speak. They are right there printed. If you want a copy of them, I'm going to read them either way. The way that this works is that the ask is that Climate Smart submit his letter of support. You can vote yay or you can take no action. And they can be done collectively as a slate or they can be done individually. So I will present them to you all and then you can discuss. So one of them is Department of State. Department of State Coastal Rehabilitation and Resilience Projects request for the Mariners Harbor Pump Station project. On behalf, the letter of support would state on behalf of Climate Smart Kingston Commission, I am pleased to support the City of Kingston's Department of State application for the pump station project. A grant from the Coastal Rehab and Resilience Fund will allow the city to replace and relocate this wastewater treatment pump station, which is corroded, not built to code, and not floodproof. Pump station is located in the 100-year floodplain, approximately 115 feet from the Roundup Reef in the heart of the city's historic waterfront business district. The creek is about a half mile from its confluence with the Hudson River. As the only deep water port between New York City and Albany, it is home to economy boosting marinas and docks and is also ecologically valuable and sensitive. When the creek floods, surface water inundates the existing pump station, causing sewage to back up into residences and businesses. Further, overflow at the site of the pump station itself causes sewage to spill onto the streets and into the creek. Relocating the station will allow for flood-proofing measures to be taken, which will protect the district's residences and businesses and the creek from sewage overflow. You would then add a statement. If we wanted to add a reason for supporting the project, we typically would add something like supports our climate action plan or the mission or whatever. And then it would finish on behalf of Climate Smart. I strongly and enthusiastically urge the Department of State to support the city's request for funding.
Yeah, it sense.
And then it would be signed by me as the chair. Would you like to discuss them individually or as a slate?
Slate.
Slate. Okay. The next one that we're going to do is the LWRP one, City of Kingston 2025 Inland Flooding and LWRP Program Implementation Projects Funding Request for the Kingston Home Beach Swimming Facilities Upgrades Project. On behalf of Climate Smart, I'm pleased to support this project. A grant from the Inland Flooding and LWRP, which is Local Waterfront Revitalization Program. That's double program. Implementation projects fund will allow the city to move forward with plans to build multi-tiered raised terraces that will promote resiliency at the beach, which lies on the Hudson River. Terraces will connect upland areas on either side of the existing beach to provide flood mitigation and protect the interior of Kingston Point against sea level rise. When completed, the project will protect natural resources and sensitive ecosystems while reinforcing the shorelines. DOS funding will help close the budget gap for this project, which has already received a grant from New York Swims. So this would basically be $1 million more that I need to add to the $4 million that I have from New York Swims. It would allow the city to proceed with a design selected as the preferred alternative during the 2020 CAD project. This design will mitigate sea level rise resulting from climate change, preserve the existing beach as a long-term recreational ecological asset, and protect inland beach areas. Without this work, Kingston Point will likely be submerged within the next 50 years. We think this is important because X. On behalf of Climate Smart, I strongly encourage you to support the city's request for funding. And the third is Fosgill Brook Culverts Replacement Project. On behalf of Climate Smart, I'm pleased to support this project. A grant from the RWG, which is Resilient Watersheds Grant Program, will allow the city to move forward with plans to replace 3 failing and undersized culvert crossings in the Fosgill Brook watershed. In doing so, the city will improve resiliency and reduce flooding that is becoming stronger and more frequent due to climate change. The brook itself runs parallel to Wilbur Avenue, which is an important roadway connecting the city's uptown neighborhood to its waterfront district. Hydraulic restriction from aging culverts in the watershed and more frequent larger storm events have had an increasingly more severe impact on the roadway system and nearby homes. Flood impacts, lowercase I. Flood impacts include property damage and water quality degradation in the brook, which affects aquatic species. The city also has crucial infrastructure located along the brook, including a combined sewer overflow pre-treatment facility, which could be at risk as climate change impacts intensify. We think this is important because, and I strongly encourage you to support the city's request for funding. So, are there questions or clarifiers, or does anyone want to make a motion to discuss?
I have a question. Is it accurate to say that the Kingston Point Beach lies on the Hudson River?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it say that, or should it say that?
If it doesn't, I thought it was on the Roanoke Creek.
Oh, no, it's not that.
It's on Hudson.
What, 100-year floodplain was used for the, pump station? Very curious.
I don't know. For full disclosure, the Kingston Point Beach project is I would be project manager and writing the grant for that. These other 2 are out of engineering. So that would be a question for John.
I think FEMA maps, the first does that here, but. Well, just FEMA.
I don't know the answer.
I think we should support all 3.
You too. That feels like a motion.
I have some.
Okay, so Cal has made a motion to support all 3. That's seconded by Emily.
Yep.
Is there any discussion?
I don't know who has the sort of.
Well, in the past, we've talked about, there's a couple ways to do it. You can shoot ideas out now, or you can give me the blessing to do it and trust what I said.
I mean, I'm sure there's stuff in the.
I typically look at the climate action plan. I usually say something like, per the blah, blah, blah section of the climate action plan where it discusses the importance of X.
Yeah.
This will be valuable to help us achieve our goals of X.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So is there any discussion? There's a motion on the table, all 3. Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Anyone opposed or abstaining? All right, very good. I will do that tomorrow because they need by Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anything so what can we do to support the Ulster County Climate Smart Committee?
I don't know. I mean, I think Nana's kind of been driving that ship and as Melissa said, is right now having some competing priorities, so.
But there aren't like 20 other communities that are looking to meet every month?
No, I mean, I think what they were talking about doing is combining with the Conservation Advisory Council, the EMC people,
Okay.
and just having climate be kind of part of that monthly meeting. Mana felt, I think wants to see it continue as a separate thing, but I don't know whether there's really capacity to do that. So I think it's a little up in the air right now.
It's the issue that they would need someone else to convene and facilitate the meetings if Mana's not up for doing it and there isn't somebody really.
Okay. All right, so is there any other announcements, events or updates?
I don't know if we have anything to say about this or can do anything about it, but a state assembly person has introduced a bill to ban the permitting of the new factory farms and the expansion of existing factory farms defined by the number of head of cattle. If there's any way we can support it, I think it's a great idea. But I don't know if we can intersect that at all.
Only as much as there would be a potential to have a factory farm in the city.
I see.
We can't support it at the state level anyway.
Yeah.
Like send a letter or anything.
We could encourage our legislative body here to support it on the state level, but I don't know that they're going to be entirely relevant to the city.
That's fair. Okay. Just thought I'd bring it up.
What was the threshold on the head of cattle? Was it 200? I think it's more like what kind of facility it's rather than.
I thought I saw
You could have a big herd. So
That's true.
pasture raised, but if like you could have 100, then it's their own.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Fine.
Makes sense and put the list maybe.
Sure. Do that.
Any other events or announcements?
Yes, we always have stuff coming up. But I should let you all know about this in particular because there is an important new reporting rule that's been put out by the TDC, requiring large emitters to report their greenhouse gas emissions annually. And there's going to be some hearings coming up. The one in Albany is 4th. For people who would want to testify in person, there's also virtual hearings and there's also an opportunity to submit comments online. And this is sort of affiliated with, but it's a standalone piece of this larger effort to implement a cap and invest program in New York State, which of course was part of the recommendations of the Climate Action Council. And most likely would be the main source of funding for new clean energy programs. So it's important that we get this going. We already have a cap and invest program in the electricity side of things with Reggie. This would apply to buildings and transportation, which are the largest greenhouse gas emissions. So it'd be really great if people can participate. NYCP is hosting an online teach-in tomorrow at 12, where we're going to be kind of breaking down more of these details, the timeline, reporting rule, the benefits of cap and invest program and how to participate. So you register for that, you'll get the recording even if you can't join tomorrow at 12. New York Renews, which is a statewide coalition, is also doing some work to kind of galvanize people to participate in these hearings and for the governor to release all of the rules for the program, which were supposed to be released in January. And then she changed her mind about that. So we want to kind of use this opportunity to support the rule and also keep kind of pushing for this bigger program to be implemented. So I can circulate the details if people aren't on our newsletter. I can send it to the list later if you're interested in participating tomorrow or in general.
Great. Thank you. Anything else? Any other events or communications? All right, so social media postings.
Who's doing this now?
Melissa, are you doing those?
Yes, I'm doing my best at them, I will say. And,
Yes.
you know, I'm doing some of them.
Thank you.
I have the paint drive on my list right now that we want to post about again, Repair Cafe. I don't think I got to the community solar thing last month. There was a back and forth about if they were actually accepting new people, remember, and then I was waiting and I forgot. So I'll add that to my list.
Great. Okay,
Anything else?
I think that's probably good.
Let's post about hearings too.
What? Oh,
We
and about the
posted-
hearing?
Yeah.
We're allowed to do that? Is that good?
Like a PSA, right?
Yeah.
Legislative thing. It's just participating in this like state process that the state wants us to participate in. So I don't see that it would be a problem.
Okay, I'll do that too.
All right, the next meeting is June 25th. Is there anyone that knows in advance that they will not be here?
I heard from our young friend Connor that he wants to be there.
Great. All right, well, not hearing anything, I'm going to assume we have quorum, and if there's no business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Jake. All in favor?
I.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. It's 6:55. Have a good night. See you later, folks.
Bye.
Who made the motion?
The motion was by Anthony, and the second was by Jake.
I